Previous video, I mentioned that the weather falls into two categories for me: the like and my dislike. Now I mentioned why I like the weather. I mentioned why it is my pro. Sorry. Now this is the dislike for the weather. The weather is extreme. It is extremely hot in Saudi Arabia, guys. It is so hot that the hotness can fry an egg. When you bring it out in the sun, it will fry an egg. Trust me, guys, it is that hot. I actually saw a TikTok video where a woman residing in Saudi here, she was trying to like describe how, make you understand how hot the Saudi weather can be. So she actually spread her clothes. I think 10 minutes later, she went back to pack those same clothes she washed. You can imagine. So what's trying to tell us that the weather is so hot that even if you wash now and spread, in the less than 10 minutes, your clothes are dry. That is how hot the weather is. In fact, the weather is so hot that the people of Saudi Arabia are not actually the morning people, they're not the day people. They actually prefer to like do things at night because the weather is hot. And I feel somehow allergic to the hot weather. It's a desert, what do you expect, guys? So it's usually very hot, it's quite extreme. Sometimes the weather is so hot that when you turn on your tap, during the but sometimes in the morning, the water running from the tap is very hot that it can actually burn your hands. That is how hot Saudi is. So Saudi's weather is quite extreme. So sometimes in my love for the weather, I sometimes too do not like it because sometimes I just want to be cool and everywhere is just hot. Everywhere is blowing hot. You know, so that's something I don't like about it. And you see Saudis, when they come out, when they manage to come out during the day, the AC is always on and running. The AC in their cars, it's always on. It's always on. That is how hot weather is. So somehow I'm actually caught between these two things. Do I like or do I not like the weather? And sometimes it works for me. I like the weather. And sometimes it doesn't just work for me. I don't like the weather. So it's actually an advantage and a big disadvantage for me. Number two, language barrier. My God. It is an issue. The fact that when you're trying to say something to someone, the person does not clearly, person has no clue what you're talking about. The person is lost in your words and trying to what are you saying? What are you saying? Saudi Arabians, they don't speak English and we don't speak Arabic. So you see the conflict of interest. We don't understand ourselves. It's always very difficult to communicate, especially for someone who doesn't know how to speak Arabic. But if you actually know how to speak, it's actually an advantage. You can't even talk to anybody because it is so difficult to communicate. It's actually an issue for me. I think it's a turn off for me. It's a very big turn off. The fact that I'm just by myself, alone by myself, I can't talk to this person. And sometimes you see them wanting to talk to you, say something, they're trying to say something, and boom, I just tell them I can't. I don't know how to speak because I don't know how to speak. So that's actually a turn off for me. I don't like the fact that I don't understand their language. But I'm learning. I'm trying to learn. At least the major ones, the basic ones, sorry. So number three, driving. I'm so sorry I had to say this, but I have never met the most reckless drivers. Saudi Arabians, they are rough while driving. Yeah, they are. They drive carelessly. You have to actually be quite watchful. If you want to cross the road, you have to look right, left, right, left, middle, right, left before you cross because you would be surprised that this coast is clear and then you want to cross. There's a vehicle coming this way, oncoming vehicle. And for you to cross, this one comes out from nowhere and boom, there's a clash. Accident happens. That is how rough they drive. So you have to be quite careful when you're trying to cross the road here in Saudi Arabia. You have to be, watchful to avoid being hit by an oncoming vehicle. That's it. Another one is the fact that sometimes you just want to fall back to a friend or a family member, fall back to a family member, you don't even get them around. It's actually a turn off. It's a very big con for me. We have friends here. We have a very wonderful Nigerian community. I mean, the best of the best. These I don't know if God just selected them differently or selected them specially. They are always there for everybody. Just everybody is there for everybody. We're like a family here, you know. But there are sometimes you just want to like miss home. Exactly, you miss home. Everybody misses home, irrespective. You miss home and the distance. You can't, it's not somewhere you can just run back to. But thankfully, there's social media to help us connect. And another thing is for social life is not really allowed or so. Well, I wouldn't call them antisocial people. I wouldn't say that, but they don't really mean. They're not people who really mingle, sha. They don't really mingle. And part of this having to miss home is the fact that there are things you crave. Actually, when I was pregnant, it was not easy for me. When I was pregnant, I was craving, I craved yam, roasted yam, I craved pepper soup, what did I not crave? And sometimes I just wish, oh God, I miss Nigeria. But I can't go back. Of course I can't. Guys, so that's actually one disadvantage. Sometimes there are things you want to have, people you want around you, and you can't have them because they're not close. Especially the food parts. When I was pregnant, I really craved. I cried. I just lie on my bed. I cry. I say, "Oh God, I miss this. I want to go back. Where someone should get me yam. Someone should get me the. Oh my God, so because Saudi here, they're just really opening up to foreigners, and we don't have anything like an African shop where you can actually get those things from. We don't. So it's quite hard to see those things. You don't even get things like yam. You don't get it here in Saudi Arabia. So it's hard, really. It's not easy. So that's actually for me. That was a very big, you know, red flag for me. It was it was a red flag. Seriously, it was not easy. But somehow you actually get by. You find a way to, know, make yourself feel better. No matter what, just eat whatever is available, and you'll be fine. So the next point is something about schools in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I mentioned earlier that they speak Arabic. So they have schools, and their schools are quite free. But the problem is it's an Arabic speaking school. Not that they don't have international schools. They have international schools. But the dislike is, what if you're posted to a region where the international school is not easily accessible or is not available? That's the turn off. In the big cities like Riyadh and Jeddah, they have international schools. Of course, they have foreigners, so they have international schools. They speak English in those schools. But what about the other regions where they don't have those schools available? That's actually a turn off. That's a dislike. So there's no way you can actually attend school. There's no way you can go to school, especially schools for your children. You can't enroll your children because the schools around you are Arabic speaking schools. The international schools could be or are quite far from where you reside. So it's actually a big turn up for me. So guys, lastly, don't get churches here in Saudi Arabia. Of course, you worship God in the confines of your home. Your house is your church. You do your thing in your house. You pray your prayer in your house. After all, the Bible says, "Where two or more are gathered, I am there in your midst." So if you have your husband, your child, yourself, are you not complete? You're complete. So somehow the turn off is that we don't go to church. Yes, because there is no church in Saudi Arabia. So what we usually do is to connect services at home. Sunday services will connect and we partake of the service. That's actually how we get ourselves involved in the church activities. Oh, thank you very much, guys, for watching. This is where we draw the curtain. Boom. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing. I look forward to seeing you in my subsequent videos. Thank you and have a beautiful evening. Bye.